Okay, so here we are live. So just let me out of that a little bit. Give everybody a little bit of time. Crazy Heart Yoga, always first on board. Hey Jamie, how are you doing? Okay. So I think we're recording and all ready to go. Okay, so today what we're going to do is we're going to do the 5 Tibetan rites, but we might do some variations of them as well, just to sort of fill it out a little bit. And some of them are you do for sort of, you build a bit of strength up. But really, yoga sort of originated in India. And then as it sort of grew and then sort of travelled out of India, it eventually gets into Tibet, and the monks in Tibet get a hold of it and they think, this is great, okay. So they figure that there's 5 exercises, just 5 asana, or asana is poses, 5 poses, that if you do these in multitudes of 7 to start with, and you'd start at 7, and then the aim would be able to do 21, and then once you sort of master 21, then you would do multiples of 21. So if you did 21 and you wanted to go further, you'd have to do another 21. So, but we're going to work in 7, because that's where you start. You've always no less than 7. You start at 7 and then you add until you get to 21. So they discovered that they thought if you get these 5 asanas, that this is the fountain of youth, the secret. So who am I to deny everybody of like the fountain of youth? You know, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I'm looking for it myself. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the 5 Tibetans. So, and because of that, I really don't know how long the class is going to be. It could be like an hour, it could be a little bit shorter. But I have a nice little meditation to do at the end. So we're just going to start at the front of your mat. You want your feet sort of hip distance apart and your knees a little bit soft. And you're kind of keeping your hips forward, and you just want to swing. And as your hand comes around, you're going to let the hand that comes around the front, it's just going to hit you in the front of the shoulder like this, and this hand just flicks around the back, and then it's this. Okay, so we're really, this is the sort of what you do to if you're starting. So it's hard to just count 7 on this. So really, this is, we're just going to open up and do this. Now I will show you in a moment kind of what the full pose is. This is a variation, so you can get started really. But this is an acupressure point, so you really want to just pop into that. That's just opening up energy, and you'll feel like tightness in them areas. It'll be like, ooh, so go hard or stay home. Okay. So if you just come to a stop now, I'll show you what the full one is. Now, obviously, I'm not there with you, so you have to be careful when you do this because it makes you dizzy. But I'll show you what it is, and then you can start counting in multiples of 7. So the full pose would be your arms are relaxed out to the side, and you would turn around 7 times. Okay, so by the time you've turned around 7 times, you can really feel dizzy, you know, it can make you feel, so that's when you have to be careful. So, you know, if there's a coffee table in front of you, slide that to one side, because you don't want to, if you do, you know, tip over. So be mindful. Now, if you're thinking, spinning around 7 times, I'm going to fall over, then this is where you need to be doing it. Just think about doing this while, you know, I spin around and we go through it. So we're going to start. So, but I want to point out, when you stop, you want to have your feet, you know, hip distance apart and your knees slightly soft, And if you need to put your hands out just while any spinning sort of takes place. But if we spin 7 ways one way, we're going to rest, and then we'll spin 7 ways the other way. But like I say, if turning is, you think, you know, I'm going to be really dizzy here and it's going to make me feel ill, then this is the one for you. Okay, so let's come to your mat. Feet are hip distance apart. Now you can start swinging the arms now, but if you want to have a little go at this, we're going to turn to the left first. So ready, turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Whoop. Come to the front of your mat, spread your feet, soften your knees. You will be dizzy. Take nice big deep breaths. You can maybe close the eyes, keep the hands out to the side, but just let all of that settle down in your mind. So kind of what this has shown us is that even though that our world right now is spinning around and sort of feeling out of control, with the breath we can find a center point in that, all of that swirling, where we can just observe it and observe it slowing down and coming to a center. Now it might feel like it's slowed down in your mind. If you open your eyes, it might still feel a little bit dizzy. If that's the case, just take a couple more breaths, and then when you're ready, we're going to go to the right this time. Okay, so here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, plant the feet, soften the knees, close the eyes, connect with the breath. Nice big deep breaths. Feel how the breath calms everything down. Good. So when you're ready, you can stop hitting yourself now if you want as well. Shake the arms out. That's number 1. Okay, so if you did it again, you'd go 7 and then 7 the other way. So you'd be 14 until eventually you get to sort of 21. But, you know, spinning around 21 times and coming to standing is very different to spinning around 7 times. So it, you know, this is something that you build up to over time. You know, it's not something that you really want to go throwing yourself into, unless you've got lots of cushions around and you don't mind falling over, and you know, that's all good. But you know, what I'm trying to say is be careful, because if you do get dizzy, you might think, oh, I won't fall down, but you know, believe me, I've seen the best of the breath workers and everything all fall over at some point because of that overwhelming sort of feeling. So just be mindful when you do it. And that's number 1. That's number 1 done and out of the way. I mean, how simple was that? Okay, so bear in mind, this is something that you can do every day, you know. Bruce Forsyth used to do this. Brucey, still tap dancing at like 90 years old. That says something to me. Okay, so the next one is where it's from Down Dog, which is, this is Down Dog, this position like this. Okay, so it goes like this. It's an inhale, and let the hips come down and lift the head and look up. So the toes stay under. I don't drop the feet down. I keep the toes under, so the hips just swing forward, and then we come back to here. So it's inhale forward, exhale down, inhale, lift the chest, and then exhale back and up and over the toes. So you see how that rolls? It's kind of forward, down, up, and then back, and that's 1. So you can see how when we get into 7 now, this is going to be a lot more physical than the first one. Okay, if you need to drop your knees down to the floor, you can come down from here, and you can come forward and lift the chest, and you can come back like this. So, you know, if you need to drop the hips down, but it really builds a lot of strength through the shoulders, through the core muscles. It opens up the spine, it opens up the heart space. These are all areas that get tight and we hold tension in. And there's only 7. So if you can, remember that it's the breath. When I'm saying inhale forward, it's inhale, exhale down, inhale, and then exhale as you come back. And if you can get the breath and the movement in sync, it really takes a lot of the out of the pose. Okay, but watch out when I come forward, I don't bend my arms. When I come forward from here, the arms stay straight, and then I just lower the hips, and you see how that lifts the chest. So if you bend the arms, then gravity really is part of the program, and like gravity's stronger than most of us. So if you're ready, we'll come to our downward facing dog. Turn the toes under and just have a walk of the heels up and down. Shake your head out, yes and no. Maybe swing your hips from one side of the mat to the other. As you do that, you'll feel as your hips go to the right, you'll kind of feel this stretch down the side body here, where you'd start to stretch the lateral muscles in the body. So just moving slow as you can from side to side, really push over, but try and keep as much as you can the same weight in both hands. Now if you're taking little short breaths here, this is going to feel challenging already. So nice big deep breaths, and then swing the hips over to the opposite side. And then back to the centre and walk the heels up and down, shake the head out, yes and no, keep the belly button drawn in, and then drop the knees down to the floor, and then link the hands together, give your hands a little twist just to take any tension out of the wrists, and that should just warm us up a little bit, ready for when we're going to start doing this. Okay, so come on to all fours, turn your toes under, and then push your heels down to the floor and try and straighten your legs whilst pushing into your hands. Okay, so that is your downward facing dog. So remember, straight arms. We're going to inhale to a push-up position. Exhale as you lower the hips. And then inhale as you lift the head, look up. And then exhale over the toes, back to downward facing dog. That's number 1. Inhale forward, exhale, lower the hips, inhale, lift the head, look up, and exhale, over the toes to downward facing dog. Number 2, inhale forward, exhale, lower the hips, straight arms, inhale, lift the head, exhale, over the toes, downward facing dog. That's 3, I know. How is that only 3? Okay, so big breath, inhale forward, exhale, lower the hips, inhale, look up, exhale, over the toes. That's 4. Inhale forward, exhale, lower the hips, inhale, lift the head, exhale, over the toes, down dog. That's number 5, so just 2 more, you can do this. Inhale forward, exhale, lower the hips, inhale, lift the head, look up, and exhale, over the toes to your downward facing dog. I know your arms might be screaming and things now, but just last one, you can do this. Inhale forward, exhale, lower the hips, inhale, lift the head, look up, and exhale, over the toes, downward facing dog, and then drop the knees to the floor, open your knees wider than than your torso, so your tummy can come between your legs. Make a little pillow for your head and just rest it out. So big breaths into the tummy. Let any tension leave the body. And when you're ready, come on up to seated. And that's number 2. So you can only, yeah, I mean, you can imagine what 21 of them is like. It's, I mean, because once you sort of, you get into 3 and you're thinking, I'm saying 3. Some people might have been on the first one, Dave, the very first one, but you know what I mean. So to build up to that, you can see how that would quickly build strength into the body, as in like muscle strength. It builds a connection with the breath, but also all of the things that are required for that, the upper body strength, the arm strength, the flexibility that you get in the spine, of course the hamstring stretch that you get in the downward facing dog, and also that nice shoulder opening thing. So you can see how they're picking this pose done like this. So the first pose was all about disorientation. I'm disorientated, yet if I bring myself into I close my eyes, bring myself to the breath, I can find a point where, yes, it's all happening, but it's not, I'm observing it rather than being affected by it. So this is something that like Buddhism is like trying to teach you through its teachings of how to live your life, is to, even though there's all of this can be turbulent all the way around you, in there, in that center point, which is you are always the center of your own experience, you know, the center of your own universe, because your perception is everywhere from that singularity, that point, you know. So it brings you into that where you know that, you know, I am calm here and I can observe this while this is happening. So our yoga mat is training us really for life off the mat. So we don't really want to be emotional all the time, as in like extreme emotion one way and extreme emotion the other way. We kind of want to keep a balanced perspective of our lives, of how we're living our lives, and in that balance we have happy days and good days and elation, and we have tough days. But what we don't have is peaking up here and then plummeting all the way down to the depths of despair, to all the way back up again. We want to have this fluidity in this movement in our life. And the movement of the poses again are reflecting how we want to flow through our life. I think it was Bruce Lee said, you know, be like water. Now, you put a stone in a river and water comes down to it. It doesn't get to the stone and go, should I go around the right hand side of it, or should I go around the left hand side of it? Or maybe I should go over the top of it. It doesn't think at all. It just moves around it and in whichever is the path of least resistance. And you'll always have that in whatever you're doing in your life, in whatever scenario it is, and it can be tough and things like that. There'll always, when you get past the emotion, there'll be a single path that will take you through any experience with the least amount of resistance. And resistance is all of the stress that you're experiencing that's affecting you just flowing around that stone. So you can see how they're thinking is what I'm trying to say, I think, is how they're thinking in the movements, and what they're doing is building strength in every area, but just with 5 poses. Okay, so the next one is, this is a really easy pose, but surprisingly tough to do, because we generally use the back of our body to pick anything up. So what I mean by that is we lean forward and we pick something up and we move it over there. So, but we seldom, you know, bend over backwards, pick something up and move it. So we don't use the front. So this requires the front of the body to be lifting the pelvis and the legs, which is the heaviest part of your body. So it can feel, but again, it's straight arms. So you're going to start seated like this, and then you want to lean back until you can get your hands down onto the floor and kind of as straight as you can, fingers facing forward. Now, if that's really difficult, you might find if you've been using your yoga block, if you bring your yoga block back, it just lifts the arms up a little bit more. Okay, so the feet are together. So you'd push into the hands like this, so you know you're kind of activating the tricep area. And then as you inhale, really what you're thinking about is, I mean, you can think about everything else if you want, but if you just think about getting that toes close to the floor as you possibly can, then that all of the rest of the body kind of has to follow that. So what I mean by that is I'm going to push into the block or into the floor, straighten the arms, and then as I inhale, I'm just going to think, push my toes down to the floor as much as I can, lift the hips, and then come down. So that's one. That would be one. And then, so it's inhale up and it's exhale down. Okay. So if you need your block, get your block. If you don't, that's fine. And then bring the hands back, try and straighten the arms, lift the chest, squeeze your shoulder blades together, and as you push the arms down, you'll feel the triceps sort of activate in the back of the arms. That just helps the stability of everything else. So here we go, you ready? Okay, inhale, exhale, inhale up, exhale down, one, inhale up, exhale down, two, inhale up, exhale down, three. So your arms might be getting a bit bent, think straighten the arms, inhale up, exhale down, four, inhale up, exhale down, five, inhale up, exhale down, last one, you can do this, inhale up, exhale down, bring the hands forward, give the arms a little shake, and there we are, moved on. That's three, so only two more to do. Hands up who's feeling that in the shoulders. Okay, I can't see anybody, but I just thought I'd say that anyway. But like, okay, so the next one, this is quite tough, okay, because it's our old friend, the core. Okay, so it's not a sit-up as such. It's different to a sit-up. So you're not bringing the whole torso forward and reaching for the feet. But what you are doing is you'll be lying down, hands are down by the side. You want to inhale. And as you exhale, you're going to lift your head and shoulders up off the floor. And lift the legs up. And then inhale down. I know, this is going to be murder, but it's only 7. At least we're not on 21, are we? Okay, so are we ready? You can, you know, support your hands. Again, you can use your block and you can pop it underneath your hips, and that might make it easier to lift the legs. And we're going to inhale down. Okay? Okay, here we go. Big breaths, big inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, lift the legs, lift the head and shoulders, reach forward. Inhale down. 1. Exhale, lift the legs, head and shoulders, reach. Inhale down. That's 2. Exhale up, lift the head and shoulders, reach. 3. Exhale, lift the feet, lift the head and shoulders, reach. Inhale down, 4. Exhale, lift the legs, lift the head and shoulders, reach. Number 6. Last one, I think. Exhale. Lift the legs, lift the head and shoulders, reach. And this time, see how slowly you can lower the legs and the shoulders down to the floor. So you just activate that core. You don't have to do this. This is just me. But if you want to just activate that core all the way down, just control them legs down. The last couple of inches is always the hardest. And then, breathe into the belly. And when you're ready, coming up to seated, ready for, I think this is the last one, isn't it? Okay, so this one is, they call it camel pose, and you've probably seen it a load of times, but it's really quite an advanced pose. So there's a bit more to it than just sort of leaning back, so I'll explain the pose first before you do it, just so you know about how to keep it safe, because if you just fall back, let yourself sort of fall back, you will fold into maybe 2 or 3 of the lower vertebrae here, and none of the back bend is kind of up and in the upper back. So we want to kind of avoid this sort of hollow a little bit here. So you're going to be on your knees like this. Sorry Mo, but you know, needs must. So if you actually you can put a cushion underneath your knees if you need to, just a couple of cushions underneath your knees, and just to take some of that out of it. But you want your toes turned under like this because it's easy to push into. But then the hands are going to be at the heart space like this, you see. So the first thing I want to do is tip my tailbone under like this, so it starts to take this sort of like curve out of the back. I've been told by my American friends that this is cheerleader ass. So I have a cheerleader's ass, so it has this arch in the back. So I want to try and take that out by moving the hips forward and then lifting the chest up and drawing the shoulder blades down the back and bring the hands to the heart space. So you can feel how that now is long rather than just you going up, and that creates the back bend. So don't think that's all you want to do on the back bend. You're not trying to lean back anymore. You're just trying to maintain that posture there like that. So the hands would be at the heart space. So you would inhale, and then all the bend happens is from the knees. I'm not trying to bend back in the body. The hips are moving forward, the chest is lifted, and if I want to lean back, I do it from the knees. So I lean back like this. So you see how the back bend itself hasn't changed, it's just moving from here. But I can tell you this is a big ask on the thighs. So it would go like this: tailbone under, lift the chest, shoulders down, inhale, inhale up, lift the chest, and then 7. Now 7 of these is strong because it's a big back bend. So if you're feeling after a couple, oh, this is really, you'll feel it in the front of your chest here as much as you'll feel it in the back, because it is really powerful, this. So if you're feeling, oh, I can feel that, come out of it down to that child pose, and then, you can maybe have a rest for one and join in for the next couple, or just rest it out until we get to the end of the 7. Okay, now there is a full version of this that I'll show you, but this is the advanced version, basically, is what I'm going to show you. So, but I'm not suggesting you do this unless you have a good strong practice yourself. I'm just showing you sort of where that would eventually end up. Okay, and back up. So you would do 7 of them. Now, the getting back up is the hard bit. That bit going backwards, you can even fall into that because gravity is there, but the power through the front of the thighs to lift yourself up is something you want to try with 1, and then if you want to do them. But I tell you, it's very difficult to put 7 of them together. It took me a long time to build that strength up, because it's basically your thighs that are pulling you back up, you know. So it is quite a powerful thing. So, but just to show you anyway, that would be the full pose where you go all the way back and back up. Okay, so here we go. And bear in mind, this is the last one, so 7 of these, and then it's just nice stuff, isn't it? It's like, you know, child pose, couple of twists, Shavasana. Come on, we can do this. Okay, so feet are hip distance apart and your toes are turned under. You're kneeling. If you need to be on your cushions, be on your cushions. Bring your hands to your heart space, and then tip your tailbone under. You're like pushing your hips forward, and as you do that, let your chest lift up. Okay, so there's your back bend. Take a big inhale. Exhale, lean from the thighs back, and inhale back up. Okay, inhale, lift the chest, shoulders down, lift the head, exhale back. Number 2. Inhale up, lift the chest, shoulders down, hips moving forward, exhale back. Inhale up, that was number 4, shoulders down, hips forward, exhale back. Number 5. Inhale up, lift the chest, hips forward, back. Number 6. Up, hips forward, lift the chest, shoulders down, lean back. Last one. Inhale up, exhale, come all the way down again. Let the knees open wider than your torso, and just let yourself come down, make a little pillow for your head. Now you'll really feel that in the lower back now, in the lumbar, sort of down in the lower back here. So you want to breathe into the belly, so you're pushing the breath down to where you're feeling that. So you'll find the deeper the breath you take, the nicer the feeling of stretch will be in that lower back. Take your time. Then poses like that, you see, I mean, another reason why they're so powerful is because it opens, all of the chakras are open, so all your major sort of energy points you're exposing out to the world, and we just don't do that, you know. The heart space, we like to keep that nice and closed and tight. If there's any sort of bang loud noises, you know, we close this space and sort of turn our back to it. So we're always kind of very protective of this. So when you start doing this, it can make you feel a little bit anxious and overwhelmed a little bit, because these are emotional centers. So as we open them, we kind of release them emotions that we might keep sort of tucked away in there. So just be mindful of that. Nice big breaths into the tummy, and then coming up and onto all fours, and then we're just going to do our cat pose. So our cat pose is, as you exhale, tip your tailbone under, draw your belly button in, push into the hands, spread the back, let the head hang. And then as you inhale, just completely relax the belly, sink into the lower back, stick your tail in the air, draw your shoulders back and lift the head, look up. And exhale, turn the tailbone under, belly button in, push into the palms. And then come to a flat back, raise the right arm out to the side, and as you exhale, thread that right hand between the left arm and the left leg, lay the shoulder down, lay the head down, and then push into that left hand and just encourage yourself into a nice little twister. So this left shoulder, don't let it collapse down onto your ear like this. Keep it pulled up and away and push into the floor. Nice big breaths. I'll go and inhale to the center, and then cat pose. Exhale, tummy in, tailbone under, stretch the back. Inhale, relax the tummy, sink into the lower back. Draw the shoulder blades together, lift the head, open all the front of the spine, close all the back. And then come to a flat back, raise the left arm and thread the left arm between the right hand and right leg. Lay the head down, lay the shoulder down. Push into that right hand and just open up that little twist. Nice big breaths. Well done. Inhale back up and then come down to seated. Hug your knees in and gently roll down onto your back and have a gentle roll from side to side. So you're using the floor to massage the back muscles after them big back bends in the camel pose. I mean, you know, when you tell people, well, this is an advanced pose, they think, no, how can it be? You know, you're not stood on your hands or you're not. But what it's doing to you physically is really strong, really powerful. And if you don't respect that pose, it'll bite you. It will bite you and it will catch you out and you'll do your back in. And it's nothing worse than, especially if you're the teacher, stood at the front of the class with your back done in. I've been there. Okay, so now you're going to bring your hands onto the knees. Take them all the way across to the right as far as you can, into the chest, across to the left and round. So you're making big circles, but holding on with the hands, and we're going in a clockwise direction. Then in the opposite direction, anti-clockwise. And then bring your left hand to your right knee, your right hand out to the side, and on an exhale, gently lower the knees to the left and turn the head and look to the outstretched right hand. Inhale to the center, gentle rock forwards and backwards. And then right hand to the left knee, left hand out to the side. Gently lower the knees to the right and turn the head and look to the outstretched left hand. Inhale to the center. Open the knees wide, reach between the knees, take a hold of the feet, and then pull down as if you're trying to get your knees to touch the floor either side of the body. And again, you'll feel a nice big opening up in that lower back. And then you can roll over till your left knee touches the floor, roll over till your right knee touches the floor. Again, just rolling them muscles into the floor. You know, we only do 7, but, you know, 7, rounds of 7, but in them 5 poses, your whole body has just had a really big workout. You can rock backwards and forwards. That can realign the spine a little bit as well. But when you're ready, coming down to lying down, ready for your Shavasana. So if you need to get a blanket or anything like that, a pillow underneath your head, just pop it under your head now. Lay down. Let the feet come about hip distance apart. Hands out to the side. Take a nice big inhale. Fill yourself all the way up. And a nice long sigh on the exhale. Just letting yourself completely let go and into the floor. So I thought I would finish the class with a meditation called, well, it's a prayer basically called Guru Mari. So keeping in our Tibetan style. Slowly starting to bring yourself back, starting to become aware of your breath, aware of noises inside and outside of the room. Start to gently move fingers and toes, reconnecting the mind, the body, the spirit. On your next inhalation, raise your arms up and over your head, and on the exhalation, have a real early morning stretch. Stretch through your fingers, stretch through your toes, bring yourself right the way back into the here and now. And then gently with the eyes closed, draw the knees into the chest, roll onto the right hand side. Just take a moment there, just let the internal organs find their place. And then when you're ready, come into a comfortable seated position at the front of your mat. If you need to be sat on your block or your cushion, that's fine. Relax the tummy, relax your shoulders down the back, eyes are closed. Gentle breath. Take a nice big inhale, fill yourself all the way up. And a nice long sigh on the exhale. Again, inhale. One last time, inhale. And on the exhale, let's release any last negative energy. Your left hand to your heart and your right hand to your tummy. And just take a few moments for your gratitude practice today. What are you truly grateful for in your life today? In your life at any point. It could be a person, an event. Feel that gratitude in the heart space for whatever it is that you have gratitude for. Bring the hands to a prayer, the third eye, and then lower them to the heart space. Tip the chin forward. Look after the universe that you live in and the planet that you live on. Take care of all your family and friends. By all your family and friends, I mean all living creatures that live, walk and breathe upon this earth. Inhale, hands to the third eye. Namaste. Thank you very much, everybody. Well done. So there it is. The 5 Tibetans, the fountain of youth. The fountain of youth. You're welcome. You can have that. Okay, so Thursday night, this is going to be a thing now. It's going to be a thing on a Thursday night. It's going to be 6:30. Luigi, my boy Luigi is on. How you doing, Sensei? Big respect to my man Luigi. So yeah, every Thursday, UK time, 6:30, all Dave, all night. If you need more of me, check out my YouTube channel. Loads of videos on there, all different levels, good stuff. And hopefully I see you in class soon, you know, and thank you for all your support. Namaste. I love you, and I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy out there. Bye.